Hello, I'm Jessica Bryant, and I am interning at Elona P. Cooley Early Childhood Development Center in a pre-K classroom in Gilbert, Arizona. Today, I am going to be sharing with you my culturally responsive library project, some key findings that were significant, and some book recommendations to supplement some categories that need help. On this slide, you can see that out of the 50 books I randomly chose, there were 37 male characters and 35 female characters. The number of boys and girls in books were almost equal. However, the main character genders were predominantly male, with 28 male main characters and 18 female main characters. This was interesting that there were mostly male characters in the 50 books that I chose. There was an overwhelming amount of characters who are white, 27 to be exact. Other races of characters included 6 African Americans, 9 Asians, 8 Hispanics, 1 Native American, and 6 Middle Eastern. Concerning the main characters, there were low amounts of other races besides white that were main characters. In the books that had other races, the majority of them were in the book one time with very little significance. On this slide, you can see that there was one religious book out of the 50 books that were randomly selected. Noah Saves the Animals. I did not find this very odd, as religious books are not often found in schools because of the diverse religious backgrounds. The highest tally of the settings of the books was rural areas. There were 24 books that were set in a rural area, 5 in urban areas, 16 in suburban areas, and 1 in the desert. I believe that so many books were set in a rural area because of the high amount of books that were based on talking animals, which I will later touch on. Shockingly, there were 0 books that portrayed a character with a disability. This is a concern to me because of the increasing amount of children diagnosed with a disability. On this slide, you will see that most of the books had a family structure of a mother, father, and 2 children. However, there were 5 other books that had a unique family structure of a grandparent, grandchild, aunt, nephew, and a sibling-only family. There were no LGBTQ families. This did not come as a surprise because a lot of the books that were randomly selected were very old, and this topic was not as touched on about a few decades ago. 72% of the books selected portrayed talking animals or objects as the main characters. There were 36 non-human main characters and 14 with humans. I was very surprised by this finding because I thought there would be more educational books with humans. My classroom is made up of 12 boys and 8 girls. As there are 14 white children and 6 children of other races, the amount of books that were in the class that only portrayed white children do not create a window for students. They are receiving one perspective of one group of people. A recommendation for books about diverse races is The Skin You Live In by Michael Tyler. This is a book about different children of all races and cultures and their experiences and stories. This book gives insight to friendships, acceptance, self-esteem, and diversity. The book, Look What We Can Do, by Brittany Atkins and Kristen Bell, is a great recommendation that every class should have because of the message and story it is sharing on a child that is in a wheelchair and shares everything that this child can do despite his disability. The book, A Family is a Family, shares different family structures that children might feel that are too difficult to explain, but shares that it is okay if your family is different, and that every family is. One child is worried that her family is just too difficult to explain, but listens as her classmates talk about what makes her family special. One is raised by a grandmother, and another has 2 dads. One is full of step-siblings, and another has a new baby. This book could help create a window in how children see family structures, as well as the books about races and children with disabilities. Students need stories that reflect their own experiences as well as the experiences of their peers, and books can be a place that they see and experience these stories of others. The majority of the 50 books selected were a mirror because they reflected a lot in experiences that may be relatable to the students in my class. The books were not very diverse and did not act as a window, in a sense that they did not allow the students to see the perspectives of other cultures, races, ways of life, and the wider view of all things. Many books in the class were not about non-human characters, which did not act as a window for students, as they did not see real experiences, rather talking animals. The recommendations in the previous slide will allow the students to have some window opportunities and open their eyes more wider to the whole world.